This is the all new Asics Megablast running shoe. I have just clocked my 100th mile in these, and in this video I am going to let you know whether or not they justify the absolutely massive £210 price tag for a non-carbon plated shoe. I am predominantly a lifter and I have always had a little bit of a soft spot for running. It is my primary choice of cardio. And I have been running probably for the past 10 years. I've ran 3 marathons, about 20 half marathons, countless 10Ks, but it's never something I've really cared about being elite in, to be honest. I care a lot more about my physique, but I like to just be a little bit of a jack of all trades. So to give you a bit of context around the kind of times I run, so that you will know whether this shoe will be useful to you or not. I run a 5km in just over 21 minutes. I run a 10k in 43 minutes. My half marathon PB is 1 hour 39 minutes. And my marathon PB right now is 4 hours 40 minutes because I have never ran one with a full training program. Although I am hoping to beat that in Malaga. I am aiming for a 3:45 and hopefully I will be able to do it in this shoe. So under no circumstances am I an elite runner or someone who runs 4 to 5 times per week. Usually for me, it's just one short run and one long run every single week to keep myself ticking over and just to give myself a little bit of a goal to work towards outside of lifting. But let's dive right into the shoe and let's start with the material itself. So these shoes are extremely light, and I am not one of those review nerds who's going to tell you about what kind of PEBA foam is in the shoe or what the upper is made of, because I haven't got a fucking clue. But first impressions when I took these out the box were they were super light, and I actually dropped one of these on the floor by accident and watched it just bounce back up, which I thought was an absolutely fantastic sign. The upper itself is this really nice material that just hugs the foot super well, and they do feel pretty breathable, even though I am someone who does suffer with very sweaty feet when I run anything further than a 5k. But the overall feel of this shoe on foot is lovely. Just standing up in them for the first time, it's just super cushioning for your feet. It spreads the pressure evenly across your foot. But the big thing for me that I really like about these versus some of the competitors to this shoe are the gusseted tongue. Now, I ran a 30km in the Adidas Evo SLs a couple of weeks ago, and I fucking hated those shoes. The tongue was folding over on itself and rubbing against my foot, and it gave me a massive blister on the inside of my foot. Despite them being the correct size and me having the correct socks on and all of that jazz, which is something I've never ever experienced in any runs in the Megablast. The really cool feature about these is they have these shark tooth laces, which I have never seen on a running shoe before, but they're excellent. You only need to tie the shoe once, you don't need to double knot it, and they have never ever come undone on any of my runs, which is a bit of a problem that I had on the Megablast 3s and on the Gel Nimbus 25s. For me, I am someone who has pretty much exclusively ran in Asics for road runs and Hoka's and Nike Pegasus for trail runs. But this is now my 5th or 6th pair of Asics. I just think as a running brand, you cannot beat them. Now, the stack height of this shoe, as you will see, it is called the Megablast for a reason. It's fucking massive. Like, it's absolutely huge. I'm not even sure if it will be legal in any kind of real race, but the foam itself is just responsive on another level. My previous favourite road running shoes of all time were the Megablast 3s. I did have the Gel Nimbus 25s, I do still have the Gel Nimbus 25s. They were extremely comfortable for me to run the Seville Marathon in, but these are just on a whole new level. Like, the foam is just super responsive, and even after running my 100th mile in them, they still feel brand new. Like, yes, the foam has some creases in, but when I put them on, it's still like wearing them for the first time out of the box. So I've got absolutely no doubt that these are going to last me another 300 or 400 miles. Now, moving on to the fit of these, what I had read online before I ordered them was that they were very tight around the toe and to go half a size up, and to be honest, I'm really glad that I didn't do that. I stuck to my guns, went true to size. These are an 8.5. I'm an 8.5 in any Nike shoe, in pretty much any running shoe whatsoever. And yes, there was a lot of tightness around the foot when I first put these on, but that was just when I was wearing them around the house. When you are actually running in them and your foot position shifts a little bit, you just can't feel that. Like, they don't feel uncomfortable whatsoever. I do have regular shaped feet. If you are someone who has bunions or maybe wider feet in general, these might not be for you just because the toe box is pretty narrow on them. But again, lovely cushioning in the heel at the back there as well, which is pretty much ensured that I've had zero heel slippage in them too. So no blisters in them, which is a big surprise for me because my feet do blister up and have blistered up in previous Asics running shoes at any distance over a half marathon. Now where these shoes really stand out for me is the versatility of them. I did not want to go and spend £270, £280 on a pair of carbon plated race shoes that quite frankly just killed me feet for the entirety of a marathon, and that I would only wear maybe 2 or 3 times a year, and then go and spend another £160, £170 on training day shoes. I don't like the idea of having to have a rotation of running shoes, and I just don't think it's a reality for most average runners. Most people can't afford to be spending ridiculous amounts of money on shoes all the time. And I am no different, although I do have a pretty decent collection of them at this point. But for me, for £210, this represented really good value because I knew it was going to be my race day shoe and also my training day shoe. And the thing for me with these is I've been able to complete ridiculously fast, for me, runs and also really slow runs. And the way that these adapt is excellent. Obviously, we've got a pretty decent rocker at the front, but I suppose that only really matters if you are someone who runs on the ball of your feet and someone who is particularly pacey. For me, the majority of my slow runs are around about a 5:30 to 5:45 per kilometre pace, so probably somewhere around about an 8 to 8.5 minute mile. And then when I start to pick the pace up, I'm usually somewhere around about a 4:30 per kilometre to 4:45 per kilometre. But either way, I can just switch paces in these so effortlessly, and they just feel really great. Like, they really encourage you to just put your foot down a little bit when you find a slight little downhill on some road. You can start motoring and you just get great energy return from these shoes. And I've never ran in a pair of running shoes that have been as exciting as these before in my entire life. The Megablast were great, but when you pick the pace up, they were just a little bit flat because they are just comfortable training shoes. But these are what I imagine running in a pair of carbons would feel like, despite the fact that I've never done it. They're just so fun and so responsive. Now, naturally, because these are great long running shoes, the comfort and stability is fantastic as well throughout the course of a run. Usually it's a bit of a trade-off between speed, comfort, stability. Usually with faster running shoes, they have more responsive, softer foam, which means that the foot can move around a lot more in the shoe, and that usually means we sacrifice that comfort and stability, but that is not the case with this shoe. Like, stability has been fine. I haven't picked up any injuries while I've been running in them, and I do like large stack running shoes just for protecting the joints. I don't at any point feel like my knees are beat up when I'm running in these, whereas again, with the Evo SLs, I just felt like 21 kilometers in, my knees were absolutely fried, and that really affected my performance, which is just not an issue that I have with these. Not to mention the fact that yesterday I ran my PB in an outdoor 5k in these, despite it being pissing down with rain, really cold, really windy, running uphill and being 10 kilo heavier than the last time I ran a 5k that quick. So that is just a testament to how good these shoes are. I genuinely feel like these will knock 20, 30, 40 seconds off your 5k PB with all other conditions equal. Now, the only drawback for me with these is the colour. Now, when these first came out, these were the only colour available. This is the Tokyo Special Edition, and these came out around about 2 months ago. When I'm out in these, I kind of feel like that knobhead who had the really bright footy boots, but who was shit at footy, and everyone would just kick fuck out of them. I feel like when you're wearing a shoe that's this loud and this colourful, you better be fucking fast, and I am not that fast. But to be honest, I don't mind it too much. I've actually bought a full outfit to go with these. It's not the worst thing in the world. And again, it's a new shoe, so I'm sure they will be releasing more colours when people catch on to just how fucking good this shoe actually is. If I'm to give them a rating, in all honesty, these would be a 10 out of 10. Like, this is as good as a running shoe has ever felt. Is it worth the money? 100%. Do you need them to perform? Absolutely not. They are a luxury. Any shoe at this price point is a luxury, but they are so fucking good. The only thing that would deter me from giving them a 10, even though I've given them one, is that potentially carbons might feel more fun, but from what I've heard, they're just not. And these are the best. And I've harped on about these on Instagram for weeks and weeks and weeks. If you don't follow me on there, it's at Coach Lithgow. But honestly, Asics, sponsor your boy, send me some shit out, because I have been going on about these shoes for so long, and genuinely think they're the best shoes I've ever worn. So don't hesitate to go out, buy a pair of these and start performing in them.